new equipment is recording. It's been confirmed. I'd like to call to order the Monday, November 15th regular meeting of the Gardner City Council. The clerk will please call the roll.
Councilor Boone?
Present.
Councilor Boudreaux?
Present.
Councilor Craig Cormier?
Present.
Councilor Ronald Cormier?
Present.
Councilor Generalowitz?
Present.
Councilor Graves? Councilor Harder?
Present.
Councilor Mack? Councilor Tyros?
Present.
Councilor Walsh?
Present.
President Kaczynskis.
Present. Councilor Mack did tell me she was not going to. Please rise to recite the opening prayer and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Almighty God, we thank you for bringing us together this evening. Inspire us to worthy deeds and sound decisions, and direct us toward the attainment of good city government. We pray that you bless and protect all the people of our city, and to so guide and inspire us that we may deliberate in unity and harmony. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Announcement of open meeting recordings. Any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of a meeting, or may transmit the meeting through any medium subject to reasonable requirements of the chair as to the number, placement, and operation of equipment used so as not to interfere with the conduct of the meeting. Any person intending to make such recording shall notify the chair forthwith. All documents and exhibits used or referenced at the meeting must be submitted in duplicate to the chair as they become part of the meeting minutes, pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. Is anyone here recording tonight's meeting?
Yes, Madam President, I intend to record parts of tonight's meeting.
Thank you. And can you just state your name for the record, please?
Stephen Rocker.
And your recording will be submitted for the meeting minutes in duplicate to the city clerk.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else recording tonight's meeting? Thank you. We will begin with the reading of the minutes of prior meetings. Is there a motion?
Madam President, I make a motion that we waive the reading of the minutes of the September 7th formal meeting and September 7th regular meetings and accept them as presented.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Councilor Ron Cormier, seconded by Councilor Walsh to waive the reading of the minutes and accept them as presented. Is there discussion on the motion?
Yes, Madam President.
Councilor Walsh?
As I was not present at either of these meetings, I will not be voting on the acceptance of the minutes.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Public hearings. Item 10541, a petition by National Grid and Verizon New England Incorporated to install 3 jointly owned poles and relocate 1 jointly owned pole on Colony Road beginning at a point approximately 3,300 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Sargent Road and Colony Road and continuing approximately 700 feet in a northwest direction, installing 3 poles on Colony Road P18, P2-50, P4-50, and relocating 1 pole on Colony Road. The public hearing for this item is now open. I'm going to read the hearing notice. To abutters and others interested parties, November 2nd, 2021, notice to abutters. Pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 166, Section 22, you are hereby notified that a public hearing will be conducted on Monday, November 15th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. in the City Council Chamber, 2nd floor, City Hall, 95 Pleasant Street, Gardner, Massachusetts, on the petition of Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid and Verizon New England Incorporated for permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures under, along, and across the following public way: Colony Road. A petition by National Grid and Verizon New England Incorporated to install 3 jointly owned poles and relocate 1 jointly owned pole on Colony Road beginning at a point approximately 3,300 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Sargent Road and Colony Road and continuing approximately 700 feet in a northwest direction, installing 3 poles on Colony Road P18, P2-50, P4-50. A sketch of the proposed pole location is attached for your edification. City Council of Gardner, T.T. Serafan, City Clerk. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the petition? Come on up. Yep, if you just want to please come up to the podium, state your name, and if you represent a company, the company you represent, please.
My name is Matt Vieira. I am representing National Grid. So National Grid is proposing to install 3 new poles. We are upgrading the feeder 610W3 to allow for the interconnection of distributed generation from solar panels on Overlook Road. And those 3 poles will allow for us to have less of a span, because we are updating those new poles are going to have a different overhead configuration. It's going to be those tighter ones, and the wires are heavier, so we need the new poles to ensure that the integrity of the system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone else present in favor of the petition? Is there anyone else present in favor? Okay, is there anyone here in opposition of the petition? Come on up. Again, just please come to the podium, state your name and your address or the company that you represent, please.
Okay.
For the record.
Yep, my name is Eric Wyson. I own 138 and 163 Colony Road and operate a business out of both. My concerns are this P450 proposed pole could potentially impact our ability to enter and exit our property. And that the P5 and the P4 pole that they're looking to relocate, we have safety lighting at night on our property on those poles, as well as the P5 pole that feeds electricity to our property at 163 and to our open lot for our tractor trailers to be able to plug in. So I'm concerned about the placement of those poles and how they'll affect my property.
Thank you.
My name is Paul Banks. I own Route 140 Self Storage on 143 Colony Road. And I just want to make sure that I have fixtures on the poles that are in now for lighting. And I just want to make sure everything's back on the poles if they're moved.
That's legal.
And that's basically all I have. Just make sure everything's put back in order, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else present to speak in opposition of the petition? One more time, is there anyone else present to speak in opposition of the petition? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Item number 10542. An application submitted by Superior Plus Propane for a flammable license located at 278 Pearl Street. The public hearing is now open. I'm going to read the public hearing notice. City of Gardner, notice of public hearing, license to store combustible fluids. Pursuant to the provisions of General Law, Chapter 148, Section 13, notice is hereby given that the City Council will conduct a public hearing on Monday, November 15th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. in the City Council Chamber, Room 219, City Hall, 95 Pleasant Street, Gardner, Massachusetts, on an application submitted by Superior Plus Propane to construct and install a tank in order to store 7,500 gallons of liquefied petroleum gas propane in above-ground storage tanks on land situated at 278 Pearl Street, Gardner. Persons interested in this matter are encouraged to attend and offer testimony. City Council of Gardner, T.T. Servan, City Clerk. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the petition? Come on up.
How you doing? I work for Roy Brothers / Osman Propane, Superior Plus Propane. I'm the regional sales representative.
What's your name?
The paperwork, I met with the fire chief.
Can you just state your name, please, too?
Robert David Roy Jr.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I met with the fire chief prior to coming over to start the license to store. It's just for temp heat. They're having 13 450,000 BTU heaters installed. It's for the elementary school, and we've already installed 2 above-ground 1,000s, and then we're planning on installing an additional 5 500s. And like I said, it's from, probably till April, I'm assuming, April, May, depending on how cold this spring is. And once it's all done, then they'll have natural gas over there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of the petition? One more time, is there anyone else here to speak in favor of the petition? Okay, is there anyone here to speak in opposition of the petition? Anyone in opposition of the petition?
Stephen Rockwood, 310 Pearl Street,
Thank you.
and I'm not really here to speak in opposition. I had some questions, and Mr. Roy has answered them, so I am good. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in opposition of the petition? Just going to ask one more time. Is there anyone else here to speak in opposition of the petition? The public hearing is now closed. Communications from the mayor, appointments. Item number 10544, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Dennis Sia to the position of Gardner Police Officer, permanent. Report from the Finance Committee?
Report from the Finance Committee is favorable for confirmation. The officer in question has been working on temporary appointment. The reports from the superior officer, his superior officers have been favorable and has been responsive to the training that has been provided and has served the city well on a temporary assignment. Finance Committee is favorable to the appointment, and I move it.
Second.
Move confirmation.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item number 10545, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Katie Gurton to the position of Cultural Council Member for term expiring October 19th, 2024. Report from the Finance Committee?
The Finance Committee report will be the same on these several that we have for the cultural council members. These are replacements. They're made up of city employees. This is the agency that promotes arts and culture in the community. It's state grant funded. There is no salary attached with this. Both of these individuals, this one and the next one, work for the city in various departments and wish to get more involved, so we commend them on that. This particular one replaces Jeff LeGros, who used to be the conservation agent. So with that, I make a motion that we confirm the appointment of Katie Gurton.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to confirm the appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item 10546, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Rachel Taylor to the position of Cultural Council Member for term expiring October 19th, 2024. Report from the Finance Committee?
Again, the Finance Committee is favorable. This person is replacing Christine Fusel. She's a clerk in the building department and also wishes to get more involved in the community. I make a motion that we confirm the appointment.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Item 10547, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Patricia Jandris to the position of Council on Aging Member for term expiring July 1st, 2022. Report from the Finance Committee?
Yes, the Finance Committee is favorable on this and the next 4 appointments to the Council on Aging. Although not required, it has been the practice of the Executive Department that one of the members of the Council on Aging be recommended by the local AARP chapter. That is the one for Patricia Jandris recommended. And the other thing is that all of these positions are currently vacant. The appointments lapsed, and the prior mayor never reappointed them. So this is there's a twofold part to this. One, to fill the positions on an ongoing basis, and the second is to stagger the positions. You'll notice that the expiration date on 3 of these appointments are 2024, and this and the next one are 2022. And that's so that they're not all coming up for reappointment or replacement at the same time. Again, the Finance Committee was favorable to the confirmation of Patricia Janus, and I move confirmation.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item 10548, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Gloria Tarpey to the position of Council on Aging member for term expiring July 1st, 2022.
If I may, on behalf of the Finance Committee, the committee voted unanimously to recommend confirmation of this appointment. I mentioned that the previous appointee was recommended by the AARP. This one is recommended by the Golden Age Club, as has been the practice in the past. Ms. Tarpey is the appointee is recommended by the Golden Age Club, and I move the confirmation of the appointee.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Item 10549, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Teresa Hillman to the position of Council on Aging member for term expiring November 5th, 2024.
The Finance Committee is favorable to voted to recommend confirmation of the appointment. This is a reappointment. I move it.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Item 10550, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Kathy O'Brien to the position of Council on Aging member for term expiring November 5th, 2024.
Committee is recommends confirmation of the appointment, and I move it.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Item 10551, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Audrey Foucher to position of Council on Aging member for term expiring November 5th, 2024.
Finance Committee recommends confirmation of the appointment, and I move it.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? Counselor Boone?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to thank all the appointees for committing to helping out the Council on Aging and wish them well. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 10552, a notification from the Fire Department appointment of Kenneth Chase. Report from the Finance Committee.
Finance Committee was glad to receive this notification from the chief. As you're all aware, under the code, we don't confirm the appointments, but it's nice of the chief, and he makes sure that we are aware of the new appointments, and in this case, a promotion of the department, and that is, I commend him on keeping us in the loop, if you will, and I make a motion that we recommend that this be placed on file.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to place the notification on file. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes. At this time, we will take a brief recess of the meeting to swear in those who have been appointed who are here this evening, and we will reconvene after the swearing in is completed and call the meeting back to order at that time.
Thought everybody else.
Only two.
We're going to vote on this later. We didn't get this.
No, this one, we agreed to
Yeah.
refer.
I mean,
This and the next one. Let's do it. So we're referring.
as long as they get it for the Christmas season, we still have one more year before.
They didn't want to stay.
Well, there's going to be a special meeting. Get rid of
That
that.
would be maybe a-
The National Press guy is going to speak with them and then come back and let us know.
Okay. I'm going to call the meeting back to order. Communications, item number 10553, a measure authorizing acceptance of donations and gifts for use by the Executive Department. Counselor Walsh?
Madam President, this item was not considered by the Finance Committee at its meeting. I move it be referred to the Finance Committee for study and report.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to refer the item to the Finance Committee. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item 10554, a measure authorizing payment of prior year salary expenditure.
Yes, Madam President, if I may, this item also was not considered by the Finance Committee at its meeting. I move it be referred to the Finance Committee for study and report.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to refer the item to the Finance Committee. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item number 10555, a memorandum from the mayor regarding FY 2021 free cash.
Madam
Counselor Ron Cormier?
President, members of the Finance Committee as well as members of the council all received this memorandum. We thank him for it. We will be acting on a number of the items that have been discussed in free cash, but I make a motion that we place this document on file.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to place the memorandum on file. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item 10571, a measure to adopt a factor for real estate and personal property taxation for fiscal year 2022.
Madam,
Counselor Walsh?
yeah, Madam President, I move that the item be scheduled for a public hearing and that the item be referred to the council as a committee of the whole.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to schedule a public hearing and refer the item to the council as a committee of the whole. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item number 10572, a communication from the mayor relative to the FY 2022 supplemental budget.
Madam President, we all received the very large document this evening, so I'll make a motion that this be referred to the council committee as a whole.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to refer the item to the committee of the whole. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Orders. Item number 10556, an order appropriating $33,149 from free cash to completed street capital project. Report from the Finance Committee.
The Finance Committee was in favor of this. This is to complete this project that's ongoing, the various projects that we see around the city, as far as the sidewalks and so on. It's it's to go along with the capital project. We had borrowed the money before, and this is to complete the project. So I make a motion that we pass the money order.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to pass the order. Is there a discussion on the motion? Counselor Walsh?
Just to add on to what Councilor Cormier mentioned, we had authorized the loan order to pay for this a few months ago, and we did it with the expectation that the loan order would be paid, the loan would be paid off when free cash was certified, which it now has. We're also able to confirm that the money has actually been borrowed, because if it hadn't yet been borrowed, we wouldn't need to pay it back. We would just need to appropriate it to that purpose. But the money has been borrowed, so this is the way to resolve it. So I'll be voting in favor of it. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Need a
Those
roll call, Madam
Roll call.
President?
I'm sorry. We have to have a roll call vote on this order. The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone,
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor General Lowitz,
Yes.
Counselor Harder,
Yes.
Counselor Tyros,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
President Kazinskas.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion passes. Item 10557, an order appropriating $500,000 from free cash to Department of Public Works Department Road Resurfacing Expense Account. Report from the Finance Committee.
Our report for the Finance Committee is favorable, Madam President. It's the part of the financial practices of the city to appropriate the 5% of certified free cash to road resurfacing expense. However, given the somewhat higher than expected amounts of free cash that were certified and the significant need that we have, the mayor is recommending a higher than 5%, by about $120,000 in round numbers. Excuse me, by about
About $140,000.
$140,000. The Finance Committee was receptive and favorable to the order, and I move it.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Cormier to pass the order. Is there a discussion on the motion?
Just a-
Counselor Cormier?
Just a comment. The mayor very knowledgeably points out that it takes about $1 million to pave just 1 mile of roads in the city. So this $500,000, that may sound like a lot to all of us as individuals, is not quite as much as we need. We hope some monies might be coming from the infrastructure bill that was signed today, but that remains to be seen.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion? All those in favor, I'm sorry, the clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone,
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor General Lowitz,
Yes.
Counselor Harder,
Yes.
Counselor Tyros,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
President Kazinskas.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion passes. Item 10558, an order appropriating $75,000 from free cash to GHS School Auditorium Improvement Project. Is there a motion on the floor? Or report from the Finance Committee?
Report from the Finance Committee is favorable. This is part of a city's share of a funding for a project that was originally funded by the Williams-Rockwell Trust in the approximate amount of $110,000. It's renovation of the Landry Auditorium at the high school. Most of what's in there is original to the building. And there is the Williams-Rockwell Trust agreed to fund a substantial portion of this, the cost of this project. The cost of the project came in higher than what was originally anticipated. And this is the amount that will bridge the gap between the cost, the actual cost, and the amount funded by the trust. So the Finance Committee was favorable to the order, and I move it.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Cormier to pass the order. Is there discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone,
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor General Lowitz,
Yes.
Counselor Harder,
Yes.
Counselor Tyros,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
President Kazinskas.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Motion passes. 9 yeas. Item number 10559, an order appropriating $85,000 from free cash to school new locker cap expense. Report from the Finance Committee.
Report from the Finance Committee is favorable. You may recall that we funded previously the replacement of lockers for students on 2 of the 3 floors of the middle school. replacing the top to bottom lockers that were very narrow with stacked lockers that are shorter but much wider and are much more usable by the students. Money is to fund the replacement of lockers on the third floor. So the Finance Committee was favorable to the appropriation, and I move the order.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to pass the order. Is there discussion on the motion? Counselor Boudreaux?
I'm happy to see the continuation of this project, because if we had those lockers, we could not fit our supplemental budget in them. So that will be good to see, and I'm happy it's being brought forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion? Counselor Walsh?
That begs the question, the councilor's comments beg the question about whether the current lockers are too narrow, or the supplemental budget is too big.
Any further discussion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone?
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux?
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor General Lowitz?
Yes.
Counselor Harder?
Yes.
Counselor Tyros?
Yes.
Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
President Kazinskas?
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas. The motion passes. Item number 10560, an order appropriating $249,115 from free cash to DPW new vehicle account. Report from the Finance Committee.
Finance Committee was favorable. This is to replace a sweeper that's, I believe, in excess of 15 years old. Even the other one that we have isn't that new. But he's able to use about $50,000 between the sewer and water enterprise accounts. And the remaining amount is what we'll be appropriating this evening. It does a great job to try to keep our city clean. We have to try to maintain it. That's why they do the water and sewer, keep it out of the drains and so on. These things do take a beating. They work in a pretty dusty and dirty environment, so it's a wonder they do take good care of them, but it comes a point where its age is against it. So I make a motion that we pass the order.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to pass the order. Is there discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone?
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux?
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor General Lowitz?
Yes.
Counselor Harder?
Yes.
Counselor Tyros?
Yes.
Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
President Kazinskas?
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion passes. Item 10562, item 10561, an order appropriating $121,905 from free cash to Police Department new vehicle. Report from the Finance Committee.
Finance Committee was favorable. The Deputy Chief explained that this is to continue the replacement of vehicles on a regularly scheduled basis. They weren't budgeted as they normally would have been because of fears how we would be with COVID. So we are taking it out of free cash. In this particular case, the intent is to put it back as a budget item in the future. Deputy Chief did point out, though, this will merely put us in the queue for purchasing cruisers. Police cars are just like other vehicles, short supply. But we were very much in favor of this, and I move the order.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to pass the order. Is there a discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone?
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux?
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor General Lowitz?
Yes.
Counselor Harder?
Yes.
Counselor Tyros?
Yes.
Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
President Kazinskas?
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, motion passes. Item 10562, an order appropriating $4,363 from free cash to fire repairs and maintenance. Report from the Finance Committee.
Finance Committee was favorable. The chief explained to us how this will be used to update and modernize the entire fire alarm system for the fire station. There are times now if they all have to leave the station, the system we have is not very good. He did write a grant for about $47,990, and what we're appropriating is a very small amount as our match for the grant. So he's to be commended and for his first successful grant, and we're very much in favor of this, and I move the order.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to pass the order. Is there discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone,
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Genowitz,
Yes.
Counselor Harder,
Yes.
Counselor Tyros,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
President Kazinskas.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion passes. Item 10563, an order appropriating $32,260 from free cash to software service license renewal account. Report from the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee is favorable. The purpose of this software service renewal account is to expand the availability of this software to departments beyond the building department, which has had a very successful kind of trial use of the software for permitting primarily and licensing. This will extend the use of this software to the clerk's office and to the health department, both of which have permitting and licensing activities on a regular basis, and will streamline and improve the process of that licensing and permitting. So the Finance Committee was favorable to the order, and I move it.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to pass the order. Is there discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone,
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Genowitz,
Yes.
Counselor Harder,
Yes.
Counselor Tyros,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
President Kazinskas.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion passes. Item 10565, an order appropriating $180,582 from free cash to stabilization. Report from the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee is favorable. The financial practices of the city call for 5% of the available free cash to be transferred to stabilization. That has been a practice that the executive departments have followed for a number of years. The mayor indicated that he had originally considered waiting a while to further in the fiscal year to decide whether or not to put in this amount or a different amount, but decided, given the amount of free cash and the wisdom of ensuring our bond rating is secure, that doing it earlier in the fiscal year rather than later is wise. Also, is to keep in mind that in past years, until a couple of years ago, any expenditure or transfer from the stabilization required a 2/3 vote of the council to appropriate money from stabilization. That law has been changed now, so it's only a majority vote. So the money is available if we need it from stabilization in the future, as we did for the school department a couple of years ago, as I recall. So, and that money was replaced subsequently. So the Finance Committee was favorable to the appropriation, and I move the order.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to pass the order. Is there discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone,
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Genowitz,
Yes.
Counselor Harder,
Yes.
Counselor Tyros,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
President Kazinskas.
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion passes. Item number 10566, an order appropriating $36,117 from free cash to the other post-employment benefits liability trust fund. Report from the Finance Committee?
Finance Committee is favorable. This is a administration policy that was established in 2017. We put the minimum of 1%, as you can see. Unlike the stabilization, once it's in there, it stays there. So we think it's more prudent to put the smaller amount. We do it, though, because, again, to make sure it doesn't affect our bond rating and so on. So Finance Committee was in favor, and I move the order.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh to pass the order. Is there discussion on the motion? The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Boone,
Yes.
Counselor Boudreaux,
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Ronald Cormier,
Yes.
Counselor Genowitz,
Yes.
Counselor Harder,
Yes.
Counselor Tyros,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
President Kazarskas?
Yes.
9 yeas.
9 yeas, the motion passes. Item 10567, in order to raise and appropriate $143,631 for the various departments for the salary and labor budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022.
Finance Committee would recommend that this be sent to the Council's Committee as a whole, as we shall recommend with number 568, 569, and 570.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh, to refer the item to the council as a whole. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Item 10568, in order to raise and appropriate $36,000 from the Mayor's Unclassified Department for operating expenditure budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022.
Motion to be sent to the Council Committee as a whole.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh, to refer the item to the committee, the council as a committee of the whole. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Item 10569, an order appropriating $19,256.50 from water surplus to water salary and expenses.
Motion that we send this to the Council Committee as a whole.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh, to refer the item to the committee of the whole. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 10570, an order appropriating $19,256.50 from sewer surplus to sewer salary and expenses.
Motion that this be sent to the Council Committee as a whole.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Counselor Ron Cormier, seconded by Counselor Walsh, to refer the item to the council as a committee of the whole. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Ordinance. Item 10573, an ordinance to amend Section 68 of Chapter 171 of the Code of the City of Gardner entitled Personnel Compensation Schedule.
Move that
Counselor
the
Walsh?
item be referred to the council as a committee of the whole.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier, to refer the item to the council as a committee of the whole. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Petitions, applications, communications, etc. A measure authorizing the mayor to execute community development housing rehabilitation program subordination for case number 11-286. Counselor Walsh?
Yes, the Finance Committee considered this item at its meeting, and what this is a subordination agreement because there is a lien on this property by reason of financial assistance it's getting from the Community Development Planning Office. And the owner of the property is refinancing its mortgage and needs us to take a secondary position. So this will authorize the mayor to sign the necessary documents to subordinate the city's lien to the new mortgage. So I move the authorization.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to authorize the ordinance to amend Section 68 of Chapter 171 of the Code of the City of Gardner entitled Personnel Compensation Schedule. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that again. A motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Ron Cormier to authorize the measure. Is there discussion on the motion? This is item number 10574. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Reports of standing committees, Public Safety Committee, item 10539, a communication from the Traffic Commission relative to an ordinance to amend the Code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 600, Section 23, thereof entitled All-Night Parking. Councilor Craig Cormier?
Yes, we discussed this at our last meeting again. We, as a committee, are still in favor 2-1, and I therefore move to second and final printing.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Craig Cormier, seconded by Councilor Tyros to send the item to its second and final printing. Is there a discussion on the motion? Councilor Boone?
Thank you, Madam President. Because I've heard opposition from several of our constituents and residents, and the all-night parking ban seems to be working well in its current form, I'm not going to be voting for this measure. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? Councilor Boudreaux?
I support this and I want to support it, but I just feel like with a slight tweak, and I don't really want to go ahead and make that into an amendment, but I just feel that if maybe we kept the 11 p.m. and got rid of the 7 a.m., it might allow the city to do their cleaning and enforcement while also allowing the citizens of Gardner the ease of knowing when to get off the road. Not that I don't trust the administration, because I do wholeheartedly, but when we think of these type of things, we have to think very long term. And I would hate to see someone someday abuse this type of authority to an extent, barring parking in the middle of the day, or in that hinders downtown business, or just in general kind of allowing a time to clean up that isn't appropriate. So I would just feel more confident in the winter parking ban as a whole if there were some sort of kind of grounds to it. I understand that the 11 to 7 is not always long enough. Sometimes it snows at 6:30 in the morning, and then we need to clean up longer, and that's fine. I want to be able to alleviate that problem. But I'm just hoping that I can speak right now to kind of get a conversation on potential ways to solve that problem as well, because we don't want to kind of, as I said 2 weeks ago, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, we want a win-win for everybody, not just something that's going to make the citizenry, I don't want to use that word, the citizens of Gardner feel that they have no choice but to listen to the code red as it comes in. Like, that makes me nervous, and I have a driveway next to a club parking lot. So that's kind of what I have to say. I'm sorry I'm rambling on.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Harder?
Yes, at the last meeting, I was one that voted no. I think it's going to become very confusing if this were to take place. I have a business of my own up in South Gardner, and many of those people that live down and around have come to me and have spoken about this, and they have really some big concerns. So even if you're saying, no disrespect, but if you're saying leave the 11, but then get rid of the 7, either way, I just don't know how that's gonna work out. We're thinking of helping the highway department, who do a fabulous job. But what about the people? What about the people that maybe are coming from out of town? They have a doctor appointment, so they're not signed up for the code red. So they're in the doctor's office, their phones are shut off, they come out and their car is gone. So I won't be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Walsh?
I understand the council is concerned about thinking long-term about the effect of this amendment. And essentially what we're doing is we're granting to the executive, the chief executive, the discretion to exercise that authority that we would be giving him wisely. And if there's an abuse of that grant of authority that we're giving, of that discretion, we can amend the ordinance. And that doesn't take too long. And we'll have the benefit of a full winter's time, and when that winter is over, if we feel, based on experience, that we need to change it, we'll have the opportunity well before the next winter arrives, and even in the middle of it, if it's a problem, which I doubt, but if it's a problem, we can amend it again. So I'm going to vote in favor of it, and I hope others will also.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Ron Cormier?
I was an opponent of changing it in the first place, from the outright ban that we had in the past. I have to say, this seems to have worked reasonably well. Again, I will support Councilor Walsh's statement too. When we change, we can change again. We've done this before, done it again. We're doing it tonight. We can change it just as easily. I think we can't We know that the executive department we have to assume that the executive departments that we will vote in the future will continue to treat people in the proper way and do the right thing. If we see, or those of the people that are here at that time don't, it can be changed again. But there is a problem for the highway department to clean up. We're always bragging about how well they do in this city. We have to give them the tools to work with. So I will support this.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Boudreaux?
With gratitude to my fellow councilors, I will be supporting this endeavor this evening. That's correct, and we do have to trust the executives that our community duly elects to do the job that they're there to do on all aspects, not just telling people when to get off the road. So I will be supporting this. I am happy with the job that the DPW, the police, the last two mayoral administrations have done with the new, not all winter encompassing parking ban. I was happy to support it then, and I am even more happy and proud to support it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. I will also be supporting this. Agree with Councilor Walsh's statements, and I think also the lens I'm putting on this is right now there are conflicting statements in the ordinance, and I think we're doing a job to clean that up, so to speak, given the parking ban for snow clearing. But I think if there's an issue, we can go back and change it if we need to. So I'll be supporting this.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Boone?
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Madam President. Councilor Walsh, thank you for your comments and the other councilors as well. As I mentioned, I'm in opposition to making the change because it has worked. But the more that we're talking about it, they're right. If we were to make this change and things aren't working, we have the right to change it back. So I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? I'm going to have a roll call vote on this. The clerk will please call the roll.
Councilor Boone?
Yes.
Councilor Boudreaux?
Yes.
Councilor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Councilor Ronald Cormier?
Yes.
Councilor General Lowitz?
Yes.
Councilor Harder?
No.
Councilor Tyros?
Yes.
Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
President Kazaskis?
Yes.
8 yeas, 1 nay.
8 yeas, 1 nay. The item passes. Item 10540, an application by Lye Motorsports LLC doing business as Blue Motor Group for a license to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles Class 2 at 144 Pearson Boulevard. Councilor Craig Cormier?
Yes, we are still working with the applicant to try and sort some issues between them and the building department, so we will ask for more time.
If there is no objection, the committee will be granted more time. The committee will be granted more time. Item 10542, an application submitted by Superior Plus Propane for a flammable license located at 278 Pearl Street. We had a public hearing on this item earlier this evening. Councilor Craig Cormier?
While we did not refer this to the Public Safety Committee, we did have a meeting and had a chance to discuss this item. We did discuss it with the fire chief. He was comfortable with this application. He said they'll still need to go through and get licensed by the fire department to get inspected and approved by the fire department after we approve this application. As we heard, it will help the builders at the elementary school keep working throughout the winter. It'll let them have heaters in the school so they can keep working. And as there was no opposition, I move this application to be approved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Craig Cormier, seconded by Councilor Tyros to approve the application. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes. Public Service Committee, item 10541, a petition by National Grid and Verizon New England Incorporated to install 3 jointly owned poles and relocate 1 jointly owned pole on Colony Road beginning at a point approximately 3,300 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Sargent Road and Colony Road and continuing approximately 700 feet in a northwest direction, installing 3 poles on Colony Road, P18, P2-50, P4-50, and relocating 1 pole on Colony Road, P4. We had a public hearing on this item earlier this evening. Counselor Boudreaux?
Thank you, Madam President. The Public Service Committee did have the opportunity to meet on this, where we voted in favor. Then tonight, there were two different citizens that stepped forward to speak in opposition to the petition. During the recess, I was able to speak to them. They did speak with the National Grid representative, and their questions were answered. They are now okay with the permit, so I move that we approve the petition.
Motion made by Counselor Boudreaux, seconded by Counselor Harden to approve the petition. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes. There is no unfinished business and matters for reconsideration. Moving into new business. Counselor Boudreaux.
Thank you, Madam President. This past Thursday, we celebrated Veterans Day in the city of Gardner. There was a ceremony held here at City Hall in Perry Auditorium where there were a number of heartfelt and pride-filled speeches, one including you, the council president, who did a wonderful job representing us as a body at that jam-packed ceremony, speaking of your father, a Vietnam veteran, and many other veterans that were important to your life. It reminded me of many of the veterans that were important in mine and that have served our country gratefully. And I thought that was beautiful, the whole ceremony. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everything was great. I'd like to thank all of the veterans here in this room, the Deputy Chief, anyone else who had served, and those watching at home for their service to our great nation. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Harden?
Nothing new this week, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Craig Cormier?
I'd just like to thank all of the citizens who came out to vote, and I would like to thank all of the election workers that went out there from 7 to 7 and did the fine job that they always do to help our election go smoothly.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to briefly thank the Board of Health. I received a COVID vaccination information card in the mail today, and I thought it was great to get that information out. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Durnallowitz?
Nothing new this evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Boone?
Thank you, Madam President. As Councilor Boudreaux stated, the Veterans Ceremony was wonderfully done, and thank you, Madam President, for your speech as well. There was a real sombering note from the WGAW radio announcer, and I apologize if I forget his name, if others...
Steve Wendell.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So he stated that 22 veterans a day commit suicide. It was really a shocking amount that he stated. And I'm hoping, we were lucky to have Representative Trahan. She was joined us in Gardner. And I'm hoping that her and her constituents can help these veterans who serve their country nobly to try and prevent all these suicides from happening. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of some of the other public that might be listening and my fellow councilors. Thank you, Madam President. One more thing I want to mention. I got a call today from a resident, and he read in the Gardner News that we're going to be building a big apartment building on Rear Main Street. And he asked me, when did this come about? And what is it going to be? And who's going to pay for it? And what kind of housing is it? And sadly, I didn't have the answers from him, but I told him I'd find out. So one of the things that I'm hoping maybe the council president would consider, as well as the other councilors and the mayor, and I suggested this several months ago, could we get a state of the city once a month at our city council meetings to give us an idea, particularly me, I guess, maybe everybody else knows everything about the project. I apologize that I don't. I'd love to be able to have the mayor give us a brief presentation on what's going on in the city, maybe some things that are coming up. And, and also, it'll be broadcast on people who are listening to us, and we'll have it on video recordings. So I just personally feel it would be helpful for not only me, but also the public. So I'm hoping it'll be considered. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Walsh?
I just want to commend those who came out to vote 2 weeks ago tomorrow in the municipal election. And I would ask of the city clerk whether the vote has been certified.
The vote has been certified.
Thank you.
The election is certified.
No question.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Ron Cormier?
Addressing that project that we talked about, I guess it would be good if the mayor reviewed that project, because we have had information on that project before. It is a public-private project worth many millions of dollars, which the Lieutenant Governor, I believe, you've all received invitations, will be coming to expound upon that particular project, I believe on the 30th of this month. The public has actually been invited to that. And it's a change that's coming to Gardner. This developer's already done work in this city, as we were told before. It's a very large developer in other parts of the Commonwealth, but it'll open up that rear Main Street. It'll make apartments available, but there's also going to be additional projects that are being done by the developer, as a matter of fact, to improve that area in the back. Parking, place for, what do they call it, those markets for in the summertime, for food trucks. So it's an opportunity that we should be grateful that is happening. So I look forward to the mayor explaining that to us, as well as the Lieutenant Governor on the 30th. Thank you. And oh, by the way, since this will be our last meeting before then, I wish everyone here a happy Thanksgiving and all of our constituents. Thank you.
Counselor. I have nothing new this evening. I would like to give the mayor an opportunity to speak on that project now, or if you did want to wait until the 30th, as it is going to be explained, but I do think we should have an opportunity, and I appreciate the councilor bringing it up and the explanation for it.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I can certainly give a brief rundown now and can do a more in-depth update at a later meeting. The Lieutenant Governor is actually coming out to highlight a different grant that the cities will be receiving for the downtown area through the Underutilized Properties Grant Program. Until she arrives on November 30th at 10:30 a.m. in Orpheum Park, which is the site of the old movie theater. The details of that have been embargoed by the Commonwealth. However, the rear Main Street item is a $4.1 million grant project that we've received from the Commonwealth through the MassWorks program through Mass Development. That is funding the city's public portion of this project, which includes the addition of 165 parking locations, a food truck area that they can set up during the daytime, an event plaza, as well as some kiosks for information. The way it was described to me by the engineers who designed the conceptual plan is when you get off of the Park Street station in Boston, you have the small area before the State House that has the small concrete plaza that's there. This is a smaller version of that, also including a little place that we can flood in the wintertime to freeze over for outdoor skating in the downtown area. The private portion of that does include a 4-story residential building with the help of EA Fish, the contractor who did the lofts at 30 Pine. That is, again, a separate private portion that the contractor working with the Commonwealth and the Gardner Redevelopment Authority are working on in that area. And that is a separate portion outside from the $4.1 million. That's several other million on their own that they're working with the Commonwealth on there. I'm certainly happy to resend the council the press release that was sent out on this one and do a more in-depth view of this project and the other projects in the downtown area in a later date. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, the press release has been published in the Gardner News.
Yes, it was. That's where the Gardner News article came from. I should say to the council's question to Councilor Boone, the types of housing, it's part of the Commonwealth's workforce housing program. That's there, that's tiered in percentages of the available units. It is a 55-unit building that it's scheduled for. A certain percentage are going to be market rate, a certain percentage are going to be affordable rate, and then the majority will be the in-between, what's called 110% of the area median income. That is a number that I don't have off the top of my head, but we can get the numbers that they're in the release there too that we can send out to you all. And again, I'll include all that in the information to be submitted at a later time for a presentation on all of our projects downtown. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And with that, I'll entertain a motion on the floor to adjourn after the closing prayer.
So moved.
Motion made by Counselor Boudreaux, seconded by Counselor Craig Cormier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Almighty
My
Father,
Father, who sits over all, as we adjourn, we thank Thee for the opportunity of joint deliberation and action witnessed during the course of this meeting. Bless, O Lord, all who are gathered here, and the people whose representatives we are, until our attend to our common welfare, until our next meeting. Amen.
The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, everyone.